What's going on Facebook? What's going on Instagram? What's going on YouTube? It's your boy J Buck, aka the Airtime Snatcher, better known as Mr. $40 Holla. How everybody doing today? I want to just say, damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, happy Halloween to everyone. Hey, the pandemic shut everybody down last year, but hey, y'all had the kids looking good. The grown folks was looking good too, man. So hopefully next year it'll be even better. But y'all was looking good. I give y'all that. Hey, tonight gonna be a big night. I got a special guest. It's my man's. Go way back. Fernando Buster Stevenson, East St. Louis very own. We're going to get them on in a minute, but first let me hit these sponsors up real quick. If anybody looking for life insurance, look up my girl Nakisha D. Smith, 314-282-5563. She can hook you up, life insurance, car insurance, any type of insurance you need a loan, she can take care of you. Anybody looking for a graphic designer, the one who did my logo, Mr. Kai Ellis, Arthur Kai, you can look him up. You can look him up. He the owner of 618 Ways. Look him up on Facebook as Kai Ellis, Instagram, Arthur Kai, ARTUVKI, or look him up on Twitter. The man Cole with them logos. Also, let's give a shout out to Whitney Rondo and the Blue Phoenix Athletics Volleyball Club. Hey, she's still looking for sponsoring donations for the volleyball club. You can reach her at bluephoenixathletics@outlook.com, or you can call her 618-960-0947. Like I say, she's looking for sponsor and donation to help the volleyball club out. Last year, she was the only all African American volleyball club out there on the AAU circuit in this area. So look her up. All right, check it out. What's going on, y'all? Y'all ready to get into this? Hey. Y'all heard the dogs. Y'all heard the dog. Boy, he does it. Who is that? All right. So check it out. Don't pay the dogs no mind. We got a little killer. The little small dogs, they got a complex problem. Check it out. We're going to bring on Buster. Buster graduated in 1991 from the Mighty Flyers, East St. Louis. He graduated in 1991 from the East St. Louis Senior High School Flyers. 2-year basketball starter, 3-year starter at McKendree University, former JV and head coach at the fabulous East St. Louis Senior High School. He was assistant men's coach at McKendree University, 17-year educator at Eastside, teaching English. Let's talk about what's happening to the village. That's what he wanted to talk about. That's good. So, Buster, where you at? Let me bring you on. Let me bring Buster on. Send me a request, Buster. Where you at? There you go. I sent your ad, Buster. Where you at? My man's he coming. Hold up. We gonna get Buster on here. I sent Buster an ad, so we gonna wait on him to get in here. So what's going on, everybody? I see everybody posted them Halloween costumes, boy. I tell y'all, boy, some of y'all was looking, boy, y'all look better on Halloween than y'all do throughout the week. But I ain't the one to gossip. Ain't nothing going on in the news. Everybody football team win today. Hey, I don't know what my Raiders doing. I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't watched no football done today. I'm hating. I'm hating on everybody today. I got time. I ain't cooked. I cooked some great northern beans with some turkey tails, sweet potatoes, cornbread. Man, I barbecued a rib. Shit, I'm hungry now. I'm ready to eat. What my man said, what Buster at? I see him on that, Buster sitting in your ad. They say no answer from the guests. Oh well, oh well, oh well. What the ad, Buster, I sent it to you. I ain't sent it to you, man. You keep on there. They say no answer from you. Send me a request, Buster. Send a request to join. We gonna get Buster on here, y'all. You know, like I say, this the Hood Podcast. It's your boy Buck Wild, the Buck Wild Podcast with Jay Buck. It won't add you for some reason, Buster. I don't know what's going on. I know, I see it. Check it out, Buster. Do me a favor. Log out and log back in for me. And then come on back. Cause I don't know why I won't add my man Buster. Well, tell everybody, tell me what's going on. You know, talk to me. Y'all quiet. Y'all just looking. Y'all got to talk to me. I'm gonna start joining. I'm gonna start joining everybody. I'm just gonna pick a name and start joining. I don't got nothing to do. I got time today. I still got my $40 in my pocket, so I'm good. Here we go. Here we go. Let's add them. Legit, was that what the world said? Them Yankees not playing, so I don't even care. But we already know Atlanta gonna take it, man. They built that team from the bottom. I don't know. I don't know. We didn't even see that coming with Atlanta. But hey, it's adding Buster. Instead of say adding. Oh no, I see the little twerker on there. Just watching Netta. What's going on, Netta Johnson? That's a little twerker right there. But James, who you got for the World Series? Let's say no. Let's say adding. So no answer. There we
Yes,
go.
sir.
Let's go for those Buster.
What's up, fam? How you?
Good, man?
Oh, man, I'm smooth. How you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. How you
Man,
living?
this
How was your day,
technology, man,
man?
I swear, man, my day was smooth, brother. How about you?
Oh, man, ain't no complaints, man. I'm here. I'm here. You know,
That's what's
just
up.
did a little cooking. That's about it. You know, when you're
Yeah, no
fat,
doubt.
you get hungry, you gotta eat.
Right. That's what's up, man. I'm super proud of you, man, for going ahead and, because, you know, you're blessed with that gift, brother, of having the ability to talk. So might as well use it on this platform and go and do something with it.
I mean, I appreciate it, man. You know, I'm always on Facebook laughing and joking while you see
Yeah,
me out in public. You know, I'm joning somebody, you know, so, and man, I just have to forget I'm about this podcast equipment and just occupy my time, man. You know, I don't be doing nothing else. You know, I go to work, come home. You know, that's all. It ain't nothing in these streets for me. You know, I'm scared of them now, man. You know, you get older, you get scared.
no question. No question. You saying something with that, man. The streets have changed, homie. We talked about, we want to talk about the village, man. Now the villagers now, man, they're in the house because these young Thundercats, man, they don't respect the villagers no more. So I
No,
try to stay
man,
out the
they
way, man.
you know, I said something about about on the last podcast about that. You know, these young cats, man. You know, they don't respect themselves. They don't respect their mamas and daddies, man. You know, you know, the biggest misconception that bothers me is it. I hate to hear somebody say that these kids are acting up because they don't have no daddy in the house.
Yeah,
Man, we all know.
that's not valid because I ain't have a pops in the crib either.
Yeah,
But
you know, and I
I
lost
did have
mine.
a village though.
Yeah, I had a village too. I lost mine when I was 15. So, you know, my mama, you know, and I was still a snotty nosed brat then. So, you know, my mom had to take care of all that. But, you know, I ain't know some people that was raised by some strong women, man. You know,
Yeah,
so, you
yeah.
know, that ain't the excuse.
Right. That's a fact, man. I mean, we had the village, man, but for the most part, like you said though, man, those women that were around us were pretty strong because they had
Yeah,
variables themselves, man. I mean, growing up in the 70s, man, shoot, that era was tough on women. I mean, with all that was going on in this country, and the black man himself brought a lot of issues home, man. And sometimes the woman wasn't necessarily the beneficiary on the good side. A lot of physical abuse and stuff happened in the 70s, man, because, you know, the women and the men were dealing with a lot in terms of segregation and trying to get out of, you know, out of segregation and racism during the 70s when we were being brought up, man. So it was tough times back then. So to say that
yeah,
women were strong, that's an understatement.
but, you know, I know what you're talking about. I was born in 71, so, you know, that calculate my age. So, you
Yeah,
know, I remember being 7 or 8 in the 70s, man, and it was rough, you know. Pops had a gas station on 30th and State, you know. He
yeah.
was at the gas station. Yeah, everybody know that. So,
Yeah.
Pops was at the gas station from sun up to sundown. So, you know, mom had to do everything. You know,
Right,
you know, Pops, he was the breadwinner.
right.
Like I say, the ones who had them. But then, you know, I know some people who didn't have no pops, but at the same time, they had big brothers and sisters. You know, they
Right.
had big brothers, you know. But then, how many big brothers we know that didn't get strung out or didn't go to jail in the 70s, early
Man,
80s?
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
because
that's
that
when,
was that drug era, man. I mean, they were
yeah, man.
using and abusing all kinds of drugs during that time, man, to cope with all
Everybody
that was
think her
going on.
around was big now. Everybody think her around was big now, but in the 60s, 70s, in the early 80s, you know, her around was the drug of trade.
Right.
Then,
Yep.
in the 80s, when you got with the Pablos and the Black Widows, you know, all of them, you know, that's when the cocaine came around. But, you know, that her around been around for a long time, man.
It has, man. I mean, people now that marijuana is legal now, you know, it's not as fashionable as it was. There's something about the thrill of doing something you shouldn't be doing. Um,
Yeah.
Back then, heroin, like you said, and PCP and LCD, these were those premium drugs that if you got a hold of those, man, that was the idea that you were differentiating yourself from the other drug dealers. There was a time when marijuana wasn't legal. Now that it's so fashionable now, everybody does it. You know, you got not just teenagers, man, but people as old in their 60s and 70s rolling up a blunt now. So it's way too fashionable. And I'm not knocking anybody who does it, but it's become taboo. It's become the thing that everybody's doing right now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, I can't knock them neither. It is what it is, you know.
Right.
What's good for the goose, good for the gander.
Facts. But
so,
you know, a lot of those individuals that are smoking and doing stuff were those villagers that you and I looked up to. Those villagers have been having to be secluded in their homes because of this whole stop snitching stuff. You know, kids. You know, you and I grew up in an era where there were always people sitting on their porch. There was a lady sitting on the porch in every hood that when you trying to get your rounds in on the street, she told you to get your behind home before she called your mom. And something that was interesting to me, they actually had your mom's phone number for real. And it was weird that it was an unwritten rule that everybody in your neighborhood had the right to discipline you in whatever way they saw fit. And we turned out okay as a result. So, but nowadays, man, you know, you can't even raise your voice at kids because society protects them so much. And as a result, man, we're living with these teenagers, man, that have no guide. They lack guidance, man. That's why I'm still at the high school, man. I every time I think about doing something different, man, I always feel that I got to be the villager in that high school for those young people, man.
Man, and I applaud you for doing that, for stepping up, man.
Yeah.
Like, you made a point, man. You know, when we came up, we had somebody sitting on that front porch.
Right, always.
Somebody, and they had that rotary phone by their.
Yes, they did. Sitting there with a fly swatter, man, fanning flies or whatever, and you better not. When she tell you to get your little butt home, they would tell the girls get your little fast tail home, and that wasn't no compliment. And you better not look like you want to say something. Again, because she had permission to come off that porch and do whatever. And
so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Buster.
Okay.
What would it take to bring the village back? Since let me say this before you answer that. I stated last podcast of that. It's so many great grandmamas, mamas that is so young now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, when we came up, we had great grandmamas and
big mama them,
big mamas them. You know, if they went in the house with us, they was next door around the corners.
Facts.
You know, they was a phone call away. We don't have that now. So, what do it take to bring that village back?
And that's a really good question. I think outreach, and I nothing against. We talked about those strong women, the village, but it's something about a male's presence in the community. Because unfortunately, a lot of these young men, and I say this, if you got a household, I got a household, and the idea is that we're the head of our households. So our families, we lead, they follow. So in the same communities, if people are seeing males out there rolling up their sleeves and getting things done, man, usually those young men, once they follow, the young ladies will follow. I say that because in the high school setting, man, we got so much stuff that was frowned upon when you and I were growing up. You got, you know, I'm gonna say it, you got homosexuality, you got lesbians and individuals like that in the high school. And if you and I don't like it, it's something wrong with us. That's what society says. Despite us not necessarily preaching that in our homes, when it's going on in your face, you have to receive it and nurture it in the eyes of society. So it takes an individual that is open-minded enough to receive those individuals despite their sexual preferences, to reach out, offer some support. And it has to be a large male presence and females obviously as well. But I firmly believe that we have too many young men that lack guidance because they don't have a pops in the house. They don't have a pops around. Those villagers, some of those guys that they look up to, unfortunately, or the stick-up kids, or the cats that's holding down the block. And those are the guys that they aspire to be, because the money is easy out there. It's tax-free and it's easy. It appears to be easy. So we need more stand-up guys like us.
Well, it used to be easy, because now, you know, back in the day, you know, when we came up, you played basketball.
Right.
I played baseball.
Right.
They didn't. The dope dealers, if they caught us anywhere near the block,
right,
they tell you get your ass on.
Say that.
Because they knew the talent we had.
Absolutely.
If they knew we had potential, they wouldn't let us hang with the knuckleheads who was our best friend in the neighborhood.
That's a fact.
Now it's not like that. Now it's everybody want to be a dope dealer, number one.
Everybody,
Everybody want to be a dope dealer.
Yep.
See, when we grew up, the for real dope dealers, they had money, they had cars, they had women, and they had loyalty. It ain't no loyalty in the game, because now if you get, they snitching on their homeboy.
That's a fact.
You know, if they give you a hard 10, if you get your hard 10, then they gonna snitch so they can get off that hard 10, but somebody else gonna end up doing 20 and you doing 5, 6. Ain't no loyalty in the game. So it ain't no for real dope dealers, number one. Number two, the other for real dope dealers, they didn't get high off their own supply.
Man.
Only time they did when they became junkies.
Right.
You know, so
that's a fact. Because
these kids, you know, you can't say nothing to them. They don't know. You know, true statement. I know somebody. They about 41, 42. They son about 16. But he's the man of the house because he brings his mama $40, $50. I'm just saying the number, $40, $50, $60 whenever. He knows a crackhead that's selling stamps. But he the man of the house. But she allows him to smoke, drink, curse, everything. But she got brothers who's supposed to be the village.
Right.
They're smoking and drinking with them. See, that's how that's the way society is now.
Right.
So now the question to you was again, what do it take to get the village back?
It's gonna be an uphill battle. I'm gonna tell you that, because this we went from a community very proud, despite it being, there was a time East St. Louis was number 1 in homicides in America for like a 3-year stretch when we were growing up. But you alluded to something that's important. I remember, if you were an athlete, something about being in the village, the gang members and everybody knew who was on something and who wasn't. I remember dribbling my basketball outside through Vice Lord and Disciple territory, scared to death, but they walk up on you and they say, "Oh, what's up, little Buster?" And I have to bounce the ball to one of the disciples. He take a few dribbles and say something to the effect, "This little nigga gonna be cold one day." And they give me a pass and let me keep walking. But that was our mode of transportation back then, Jay. But we walked everywhere. These kids nowadays, they don't go outside. Even if they wanted to, they don't. Even if it was safe to do so, they simply don't have the desire to do it. So to answer your question, it's going to take a lot of people within these same communities that are looking for somebody else to do the work and get out there and start it. Because there are people like us who want to help and who are taking some initiatives and doing things, and you can't be discouraged because you don't have support. because we live in a community, man, where unfortunately people have their hands out. They want to see what can they get out of it financially. Now you might ask, can you borrow a facility to host a basketball camp or a baseball camp? But that facility often wants to know how much money you're gonna pay them to do that. Whereas I'm thinking this would be some good PR for your school, the Mary Brown Center, JJK, the Trinity Center, the Christian Activity Center, all these different areas in the community, to open your arms and let these kids come in. Because they're somewhat doing it, but they're not full-fledged. They're about 50% in just for the PR of saying, hey, we're trying. But there are more outreach services that could be provided for these kids. None of these facilities I just named even venture to the high school at all to try and get us to help out or show support. And when I ventured to, and I'll leave those places anonymous, but I ventured into most of the places I named, and they always want either some sort of something financial as a result of doing it. They want the PR, but nobody in that facility wants to do the legwork that comes with it. So, we still live in East St. Louis. Yeah, what's up?
But this East St. Louis,
It is.
And I'm just gonna say it, on this podcast, you can say what you want to say. It ain't no retributions or nothing. It's open talk.
No question.
That's East St. Louis. In order for you to get something done, somebody got to get paid.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
So, in order for you to get something done, and I'm gonna say it again, in East St. Louis, in order for you to get something done, somebody got to get paid.
Right.
Somebody. And it's pitiful. I remember working down at SEC over 17 years ago, man.
Uh-huh.
They had these plans to build downtown East St. Louis.
Right.
Had these big old plans. I ain't had the blueprint of from the riverfront all the way down to 25th Street. That's supposed to be the whole medical district. That ain't happened. We do not have a hospital in East St. Louis no more. When I grew up, we had two of them.
Yeah.
Christian Welfare and St. Mary's.
Right.
We do not have a hospital. Everything that's on Route 15 going up in Belleville.
Yep.
The Target, the Home Depot, all the restaurants. That was supposed to be downtown East St. Louis. Now, if people don't, if I'm lying, people need to go back and do their history. It's because everybody in St. Clair County always want to stick their hand out.
Facts.
And
Facts.
East St. Louis is prime land down there, man.
If
it wasn't prime land, I mean, look at it. Go to the St. Clair County website. Look up all the property downtown East St. Louis. Right. They're owned by corporations. They're not owned by individuals. They're owned by corporations. Right. So you got all this prime land. Why can't East St. Louis? And I know we get off the subject, but why can't East St. Louis dictate? Okay, every business got to have the same color building. Everybody that has these empty lots downtown or whatever, keep the grass cut. If they ain't cut for a while, then we gonna take it. Okay. Yeah. But I say that because all of that playing to the village. Facts. All that playing to the village. Because if we do better as a village, maybe we can help some of these kids out here, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I totally agree, brother. I mean, it's sad. It seems as though, that the good people get mistreated down there. The people that are trying to make a difference get put to the side. And everybody has a limit to how much you can take. You put your efforts in as much as you can, and then you get people telling you can't do this and you can't do that. And unfortunately, what we do is us East St. Louisans take those talents elsewhere. And we build and we help kids in other communities because their kids need help. They're Black kids that need help everywhere. And if our own community is not receptive to that help, you take it somewhere else. Yeah, I understand. And that's why a lot of people move out of East St. Louis. Absolutely.
I mean, it's a trickle down effect. You know,
Right.
it's a trickle down effect. If you got bad people running the city, it's gonna trickle down to everything from all the way from Man, let's talk about education. We talk about a
Right.
village.
Right.
Let's talk about education.
Okay.
Man, there's no way you grew up in the neighborhood and all the elders didn't know what you got on your report card before you did.
Yeah, that was scary, man. Now that I think about it. Yeah, they knew, man.
All the
It was
elders,
creepy.
everybody on your block knew what you had on your report card before
Man,
anybody else.
man, it was
Can we
unbelievable.
do that now? No, because
No, we can't.
if I go to my next door neighbor, like, hey man, your son out there swinging on my privacy fence, can't tell him to stop. Oh, motherfucker, you act like you all that. You know,
Absolutely.
motherfucker,
Yeah.
he ain't hurt the fence. It ain't the point that he hurting it.
Right. Right.
What?
Right.
He look ready to sit down somewhere.
Right.
Cause I cut my grass every week, but you cutting your grass every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta walk through your grass with knee high boots on because you'll make sure no snake bites you.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know, that's the business. You can't say nothing to the next door neighbor. You can't say nothing to the little kids riding the bike. You
Right.
know, that's another thing.
Yeah.
You barely see kids riding the bike or playing tag football or something. It's video
No.
game.
Yeah, that's it.
You know,
That technology has been a
we
gift and a curse. Yep.
Yeah, because I know Saturday mornings, boy, we get up 6 o'clock, start cleaning
Oh
up.
my
We
goodness.
go outside.
Yeah.
All the time we come in the house, we have to sit on the toilet.
Man.
Other than
Man.
that, we picking up the water hole. You know,
Yes.
we paying up
Yes.
by a tree. You know, we can come outside, but you don't even see kids outside no more.
No, you don't. And part of that is because of
what up, Marcus?
huh? Go ahead, bro.
I'm saying, what's up to Marcus Mill? He said, what's up, good guy?
Yeah, man. This you make really good points, man. The transition from where we were as kids to where we are today, man, is kind of troubling, man. It's kind of disturbing to know. Society itself has jumped in and has told us how we can raise our kids, what we can and can't do. We talk about education, but there was a time in education, J Buck, where corporal punishment was in. We got our butts beat in school. Um, Certain teachers would paddle you, and you didn't look forward to those paddlings. As an adult right now, we can remember those teachers that gave us those paddles, those ones we didn't forget. They had names for the paddles. It was different stuff going on. And as a result, we turned out to be okay. But when soon as they moved corporal punishment out of schools, man, the society was on the decline. Yeah, rest in peace, Gold 3. Yes. Yes. Gold 3. And I didn't go to Clark, but I heard about Coach Woods, the electric chair. I didn't even go to Clark.
Man, Coach Wood called me cursing, man. Mm-hmm. He called me. I'll tell you, I was bad. I was good, but I was bad. Yeah. I was mischievous, put it that way. And right. Coach Wood called me. He heard me call the girl a bitch.
Oh, man. That was a bad word back then, man.
In the relationship. Yeah. Hey, man, it was so funny, man. He said he hit me BITC, and then he got how to spell it and started over. I'm like, man.
Oh, man, another great man. Rest in peace to Coach Woods as well. Another great pioneer for the community, man, that we lost, and we're still in recovery.
Wooden.
Yeah, Mr. Wooden, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Wooden from out of McHenry, the Paddle King.
Yeah, man.
I went to McHenry for 3 weeks.
And you remember that cat for 3 weeks. Yeah, and see, but that's where we are. That's where we are, Jay, as a community, man. Society has dictated what we can. I mean, as a basketball coach, having been involved as a player and a coach, there was a time when I played, man, coaches could touch you, grab your jersey, shake you up, do everything besides talk about your mama. And sometimes they might have said your mama wouldn't like this, but they can grab your jersey. Nowadays, man, kids, we talk about their technology. Kids record things, man. They record you. They fired a couple of coaches at Eastside before I took over for cussing, man. Yeah. If coaches never
with Tony,
You
my
got
good
Tony and
friend Tony.
yes, great friend of mine. I rapped with Tony not long ago. Stetson Harrison came after that. They got him. And these guys, I gave heads up to because I had been in that building. And I grew up in East St. Louis, and I tried to be a good dude and let them know, man, that this community is watching you cats when y'all cussing. And this generation, man, kids record stuff, man, and that evidence can change your livelihood because they submit that to the board, man, and they usually terminate you. And that's unfortunate because if any coach in America if every coach was fired for cussing, we wouldn't have any coaches. And a lot of these coaches are cussing in the locker room, which is your sanctuary. Not necessarily out there in the public eye, but in the locker room, they're saying a few choice words, man. And these are supposed to be our thug kids, but they're the ones that are reporting you for cussing. So I'm like, dude, you're completely disrespectful all the days leading up to practice. But when a coach says a foul word, you want to record him. But in the neighborhood, you calling the elderly person, I can't stand that old bitch. I hope she die. You saying that in the community. However, when the coach tell you, man, you bullshit, you're recording it, and the coach loses their job. We're living in a messed up society right now.
When we talking about, man, curse words, man, that was shit. That was normal language. We looked at it like, man, okay. It motivated us. We like, shit.
Absolutely.
Us out.
Absolutely.
We busting really fucking up.
Absolutely. And that coach cares.
But now, man.
This generation, man.
So, Buster, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
What are you doing at Eastside right now, man?
Right now, I teach 12th grade ELA, English language arts, man. I'm an English teacher. But I've had various positions there. I've been a behavior interventionist, which is similar to a dean of students. I've had college and career jobs. So I happen to be in a classroom, but I offer my students and students outside of my classroom everything that I've ever had. Those kids that are student athletes in football, basketball, baseball, I usually offer them some insight to what college coaches look for. Despite it being different sports, we all have the same mindset when it comes to a kid that we're willing to pay thousands of dollars for. So I offer the kids that aren't necessarily brainiacs, but are good with their hands. J-Buck, I'm going to tell you, when me and you were coming through Eastside, they had wood shop class and they had home economics. Now, if you leave East St. Louis Senior High School and you say you don't know what you want to do with your life, then somebody dropped the ball. And it's usually the kid, because even if you're not a brainiac, we have a career and technical education building that offers radio personality, electrical engineering, auto mechanics, welding, cosmetology, everything. It's offered. So there are no excuses.
Kiki Lockett. I think he's over the technology department.
Sir. Brother Lockett, he runs that whole area, career and technical education. He's the director. He runs it all. And a lot of the kids, you know, when you and I were growing up, to me, man. Oh, that's a good dude. I'm talking about real good dude, man. He's passionate about his craft as well. But nowadays, you know, again, if a kid leaves Eastside and they saying, man, Eastside didn't offer me nothing, then they're lying. Because not every kid is a brainiac, but even a kid who wants to work with their hands has resources there, man. And we have relationships with colleges like Rankin and all these technical schools around here to plug kids. But unfortunately, those kids are with us those 6.5, 7 hours, but then they leave us and go to their everyday life. And that's what we're competing against. Their everyday life is often issues that you and I didn't have to deal with. You know, we didn't have to necessarily go and prepare our own meals and be a 13-year-old mother, even though that's not your kid. You got a young sibling. Your mother is 14 years older than you. She want to go clubbing and she leaving you to be in charge of your household. We didn't necessarily have those issues. A lot of the kids nowadays, I often, you know, the kids who may not have had a good meal over the weekend when they come back. So as a teacher, I try to have little snacks on deck, little stuff to give kids, because they're embarrassed if they didn't have any food. But I know those kids, and I pull them aside and say, man, I got a cereal bar and a juice in my fridge, grab it. But we don't have enough people who are passionate enough, who are emotionally invested in those kids enough to do the things that I do. My things that I do, they're seamless things for me. I don't need any applause for them. It's the stuff that the villagers did for me. Because when we were growing up, J Buck, when the sun came up and the birds started chirping, I was at your door. And if I was at your door, I came in, your mom welcomed me in. I spoke to her, I grabbed the seat. She told me, you'd be outside, you'd be out in a minute, you brush your teeth, wash your face. Whatever breakfast your mom had in store for you, I was free to eat too. And you and I went outside and played until the sun went down. And when that sun went down, that screen door should be opening for me to come in. But that's the difference. These kids nowadays are unified for different reasons. It's gang-related activity, who's got the most money, who's doing the most hustling. Sad story, real quick. I saw a kid who said, they called me Coach Steve-O at the school. I saw a kid recently, right before the churches on 59th Street closed. He said, Steve-O, man, we was going to bang that boy yesterday, but he was with his mama. And I said, why was y'all going to bang him? This kid lived in the 50s, 59th, 62nd Street area, but Church's Chicken on 59th was packed. So he and his mother went to Charlie to grab a piece of chicken. All right. So he was in foreign territory. They were going to jump him if his mother wasn't with him because he don't live in Charlie. And I told them Negroes, y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Y'all ain't no tough guys. These kids are generating groups of kids performing what they perceive as gang activities based on where they live. It wasn't. We grew up with Vice Lord Disciples, Park Avenue players, real guys that threw hands. These kids can't take an ass whooping. You still on somebody nowadays, man, you might want to finish the job because they're going to try to kill you. That's where this generation is. They can't take an ass whooping, J. Buck. They can't do it.
Look, man, you just hit on something because over there at the hospital, man, I tell them kids all the time, man, but they grown up and they younger than me. Everybody always claiming Bloods.
Yeah, boy.
Crips. I say, man,
let them niggas
man,
LA
none of y'all have been in this. Y'all ain't been put in that step. Y'all ain't put in that circle. One guy tried to tell me, man, I'm a GD.
Please.
Hit that lit.
Yeah.
Who your recruiter?
Yeah.
There ain't no GD, man. And
no.
It's wannabes. That association.
Absolutely.
Association. But then, but like I say, things have changed now. If two people jump on one person, that's considered gang activity. That's a felony now.
Absolutely, man.
But it's the kids these days, and I hate to say it, it's kids raising kids.
That's a fact.
Okay, you stated that a 13-year-old got to leave school, do their homework, and take care of their little brothers and sisters now.
Right.
You know, we didn't have to do that, man.
No, man.
On Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturdays, we was trying to be with R.J. Cross.
That's my man. Rest in peace. Yes, sir. All day. And that's when, and you speak of a guy. Yes, you speak of a guy that, with all that's going on in this world, he was a white man that was taking black kids off the street of East St. Louis and was trusted by our parents to take us to Cardinals games, Blues games, SIUE basketball games, Mizzou, in different places, and he made sure we had something to eat. And everybody knew who R.J. Cross was.
Everywhere.
Yes, he did. Everywhere. I had my first exposure to professional sports through RJ because my mama couldn't afford to send me to no Cardinals games. So I did everything.
Right.
And only thing I had to do was put on the RJ Krause t-shirt and play basketball. That was easy. So
what? Not just basketball. Put on a shirt just to go to the zoo game and say you're there.
Man.
A Blues game. A Cardinals game. The old St. Louis football game.
Cardinals.
Even when he got sick, he was still taking people out to the Rams game.
He never stopped, man, until his death. He never stopped doing what he was supposed to do, man. He never stopped. And having us in that community then, man, getting on the field with the Cardinals and all that. Man, great dude, man. We've lost some icons. Mr. O.C. Hughes down at the Boys Club of East St. Louis helped raise me, man, when I was going to rock. He was another one of those individuals that knew what was on your report card. And I'm like, as I reflect back, I'm like, man, why did people take the time to get to know us like on that level and teachers trusted these individuals to tell them what is perceived as confidential information about somebody else's kid. But they knew what was going on with us. So I would go in there and he would stop me at the front and say, Buster, what's up with that science grade? I heard you acting a fool in Coach D class. And I'm like, what? How? And it was spooky. But that was that village we talking about. And I would leave there and head toward the crib. I would stop by the Salvation Army with Chico and Big Earl. Same sort of philosophy. They knew my people. So they knew, what I had going on. So I'm like, so again, I'm talking about these places. I'm walking from there to the neighborhood house. I get down there. It's the same philosophy. Everybody cared about kids. And they were emotionally vested in you as a kid. And so I knew what that meant for me as a kid. So I try to give back in that regard, man. And it's been tough though, Jay. I ain't gonna even lie to you. It's been tough again because of those naysayers, that those decision makers who have the power have been preventing people like us from getting our voice all the way out there. Yeah.
Hey man, look, bro. It's like this, man. If you need a donation or anything, man, hit me up. I'm gonna send you my number after this. You don't have to contact me through Facebook. Matter of fact, we know how to reach each other if we need to.
For sure.
If you're doing anything, if kids need some snacks, I got a Sam's card.
Me too.
Man, I go get them kids a box of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that, man, because I mean, I have kids. I have younger kids. I got two of them at Eastside. 11 and 10th grade. Volleyball player and a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? So, man, if you need anything, I hate to see a kid hungry because you stated there earlier.
Yep.
Some of these kids, that's all they need. Only thing they need, two people can make a village.
Yep.
They just need somebody to show them that it's another way.
Right.
It's another way, man.
Yeah.
It's another way,
Right.
But we do need to find a way to get back to where the parents, the parents are helping out.
Yeah.
If I bring you my daughter, if you bring me my daughter and say, hey Jay, man, your daughter, she a good student, but man, I've seen her acting up at school, doing something she know wasn't right.
Yeah.
I'm whooping her ass in front of you.
Yeah, no question.
Ain't to nobody go.
Right.
If I come up to the school, and Principal Hawkins, tell me, she be like, Jamie, I see your baby. That's all you have to say. I see your baby. I'm whooping that ass right there at the school. That's how I got it. I was taught. You get it where you act up at.
Absolutely.
I don't give a care you're embarrassed or not.
Right.
That's what you get it now. I ain't gonna be on there. I ain't gonna be at no school calling no bitches and hoes, like none of that. No.
No.
I'm gonna drop the bowls on you.
Right. Yeah.
I ain't gonna talk. Cause my mom and daddy didn't talk to me. And while I'm talking, I want to say what's up to Keith Stallers and the Access Foundation.
That's my guy.
He does a lot.
Yes, sir.
Keith, we've been knowing Keith for plenty years.
That's
many years.
Good dude.
Keith is a good guy. And Keith's heart is into helping the communities, especially the youngsters.
He's doing
during that pandemic, Keith's foundation fed so many people, man.
He still
it
does.
Was unheard of.
He still
Shout
does.
out if you keep the stars, anybody can reach him. I know I can reach him. I got his number.
Me too.
Tell him Jay Buck and Buster Steve-O say, congratulations, man. We salute you, brother.
No question.
The Access Foundation.
Yeah, no question. I did it. I always go out when I'm available, man, to go help out with Keith. And I got a couple of his shirts, man. I go out there and hand that food out, man, and talk to those kids, man. It's powerful what he does. It's powerful what he does, and he doesn't let he does it on his own because his foundation is growing. Yes. He's such a good dude, man, and humble in his approach. But he's relentless when it comes to these kids, man. He's nonstop, and so I support him, man. And of course, there's always salute to cats that do stuff like that, man, because we need more Keith Stallings in the world, man. And we need communities to be receptive to people like that, because Keith is powerful, man, but he ain't doing it for the PR, man. He's doing it because he's personally vested in kids, man, and kids in his own community. And so he's leading by example. He don't ask us to go help, so I just go out there when I see anything. Man. Yep, good dude, man. Good dude.
That man heart so good, man.
Yes.
He'll see a kid walking with a group of kids, and if that one kid got some raggedy shoes on, Keith is gonna grab that boy and take him to go buy some shoes. And he ain't gonna buy no cheap shoes.
Oh no, no.
If he got his son with him, hey, if he got his son with him, he gonna buy him. He gonna buy it. You there?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Yeah, he gonna buy that. He gonna buy that boy the same kind of shoes his son got on.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Hey man,
a lot of
can't nobody. That's one brother. Can't nobody talk bad about him. That's one brother. They can't nobody talk bad about.
No. Unless you'll find those people that try though. Usually, man, I try to live my life similar to Keith. That if you don't like Buster, there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? Because I don't bother people. I try to be an upstanding person, and I try to preach that to every kid that I encounter, especially the ones that live with me. And so it's like, man, I don't like that nigga Buster. Woo, woo, woo. It's like, man, what did Buster do to you? So usually people are reflecting on themselves when they don't like Jay Buck and Buster, because we have gotten to a point in our lives, man, we're trying to reach back and help some people. And these are the kind of platforms that allow that to happen, man. Social media is huge. It gives us an opportunity. You and I are on this phone together, on this call together, man, instead of us being previously had to set something up where we go to a restaurant and talk in person, man. Social media puts us in each other's living rooms all over the country. So these platforms got to get used. So there's no excuse for kids that say, man, I don't know how, or I can't do this. You got a talent, man. COVID was a gift and a curse. It showed people that you have some talents. While you're sitting at home, your mind is churning because you can't go anywhere. So I saw more eyelash techs and people doing this and people selling food and doing all kinds of stuff just to realize some of those talents. And it's like I said, it's been a gift and a curse. It's motivated people, and it also caused some to not go back to work, which is why everybody's hiring nowadays. Biden broke us off with a stimulus check, man, and some of these Negroes haven't looked back yet. And I'm like, dude, you have to, that little money, man, I'm sure it's probably gone by now, but you have to press forward, man. Press forward.
Yeah. So I bet I see a McDonald's saying somebody paying $21 an hour.
Yeah.
If I see, hey, you gonna see Buck back there talking about welcome McDonald's. How many I take your order?
Absolutely. Because I ain't beyond doing nothing, Jay, to make sure my family eat. Man, I'm gonna make sure my family eating. I ain't beyond doing nothing. Yeah, and nowadays, I'm riding by and see a McDonald's billboard that say they're paying $14 an hour. I'm like, $14 an hour for a high school kid? That's some bread. Why y'all ain't? Y'all should be jumping on that.
But they don't have no motivation in their house to go do it.
They don't. You know, we talk about that. That's interesting. That brings up
when everybody else sit at home.
Yeah. There you go. Say it. Go ahead. Yeah.
What type of motivation would I have if I see my mama, my daddy, my brothers, my sisters, all them laying around getting $300, $400 a week in unemployment?
I was just about to touch on that. Yes.
And they can go back to that.
Right.
You know, that ain't no motivation to me. You know, that's where the village is. That's how the village is being lost right there.
Right. Because that you just touched on generational poverty, Jay. If we got kids who live in like the Velts, their grandma live in the Velts too, and they getting this free money. So what other aspirations do they have but to live in the Velts? It's easy. You ain't got to work. they're going to keep taking money out of me and your check to provide for them. But if it's that easy, why work? Why work? But I can't visualize not working.
Yeah.
I can't. Since 16, I hit the ground working at churches. I can't visualize not working, big dog.
Hey, man, we had some fun in churches, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
the churches, boy.
Yeah.
Boy, 59th state, boy.
Yes, sir. That was my spot, man.
I still got grease burns on my arm from this.
Man, me too.
I'd never go work at that boat.
But I bet I probably could still throw a stove, though. I probably could go in there right now and whip up a batch of chicken, though. I probably could. I wouldn't, but I probably could do it, though. But, man, I tell you what, man, again, we talk about this generational poverty, man, this lack of motivation by the kids, man, despite us telling them, you know, you need to go to college, go to trade school, go to military. Those are 3 options, or start your own business. What are your talents? And kids are like, I don't know. I'm like, you don't know. You haven't thought about that. And it's October. Now it's November and you graduating in 7 months. And you still haven't thought about what you want to do with your life. So I always put it in those terms, and kids be like, Steve-O, why you put it like that, man? I'm like, well, that's the only way I can put it, because society is waiting on y'all whether you're ready or not. They waiting. And once you leave East St. Louis, you don't have to feel obligated to come back to East St. Louis. You can pass through, because East St. Louis will consume you if you let it. It'll eat you up. I've known a lot of people that you and I see walking around that tried drugs for that one time. They still in search of that initial high. They cracked out. And me and you see them, we still show them love, but it's disappointing, because some of these people were the who's who when we were in high school, and they made a mistake. And they have yet to recover 30 plus years later.
Lost.
Yep.
You just let some gunshots off, man. It's crazy, man, because before I came back home to start this podcast, man, I made a run, and I ain't gonna say no name, but I saw a former athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thought he was going through it, man. Standing up to begging for change.
Yep.
You know, who's who? You know what I'm saying? Man, that did something to me, man, because that could have been you, that could have been me, but we had people who tell us, "No, little nigga, go about your business." You know,
right.
No.
Yep.
Man, you told me you smoked a cigarette. You tried a joint. Nigga, I better not ever catch nothing at your mouth. You better not even drink. You know, we had the mother and father figures in the neighborhood.
Right.
Another thing you touched on about earlier was about the curriculum in school, like the VOTEC classes.
Yeah.
One thing y'all got now that we didn't have is some of these kids, if they keep up with their work, they could graduate high school with an associate degree.
Yeah, we got that. That's our running start program.
Man, I wish I would have been.
Yep.
Man, I wish I would have had that, man. I probably would have. You know, I'm gonna try to get me to go to barber school.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go to barber school.
Right.
I ended up working at the college. I did a couple of years in the reserve, Army Reserve. But he begged me to go to barber school. Now, if my daughter gets selected next year, she can start. If she wants to be a cosmetology, she want to do her. She can have her cosmetology license in 2 years.
She can do it.
And then still graduate college. By the time she's 19, 20.
Yep.
We didn't have that, man.
Yep. Like I said, for a kid to say that Eastside's not offering anything to them, they're lying, man. They are rolling out the red carpet at that school, man. And kids they just have so many variables that me and you didn't have. You and I are on our kids. I got one in the military. She's in Germany. One's in college playing basketball. But I still don't let up on my kids. It's FaceTime. We're talking. Conversations. I don't let up because they're young adults and say, "Oh, well, I've done my part." No, I don't let up on my kids because I work in an environment that I see what letting up on a kid, what happens when you let up on a kid. I see that every day. kids that don't have parental guidance. So I try to be their pops, their uncle, or somebody just to nurture the kid, man. Because some of them have had, and it'll break your heart, J Buck, if you were in the system, some of the things that you know that kids go through in terms of physical abuse, mental abuse, molestation. A lot of that stuff they bring to school. And unfortunately, teachers who aren't vested in those kids who didn't grow up like I did and like you did, some of our non-Black teachers last year during the pandemic thought that kids were manipulating the system by not turning in their assignments. And I'm like, how can you prove that? Well, Mr. Stevenson, this kid is saying that they didn't get a chance, their internet is down. And I said, that could be valid. How can you? I just think they're manipulating the system. And these are some of the white teachers I talk to. And I say, well, I grew up one of those poor kids who didn't have internet, but I did also have some red bills on my table that my mom was calling and making arrangements on. So I know what that's like. So I can't disregard the fact that these kids might be living like I did or worse. You can't assume that a kid is lying to you because they were forced to do something to be thrust into working remotely from home. Because again, it broke my heart to know potentially what some of the kids were going through at home. School provides a sanctuary for some of these kids, man. You know, so you talk about those kids that were, what was it, 194 when we was in school. That was a special ed room. Remember that room? Self-contained. Yes, 194. You know, and that was the running joke. You know, if you were, you know, people would say, nigga, you probably in room 194. Those kids came to school before we got there, and they left before we left. It was a small classroom. Well, we have those kids now walking throughout the building, escorted by 2 teachers. So that whole idea is out there. They're in the regular environment now. So kids nowadays, and of course kids are brutal, Jay. So if you're in special ed, kids know that you're in special ed now because you were in special ed in middle school. It doesn't usually change. But as a teacher, it makes it difficult for you to, well, it ain't have to be difficult. You can make it, structure your classroom environment in a way that everybody feels welcome in your class. Everybody wants to take Steve-O classes because my class is chill. Although I'm supposed to be teaching English, but at any time, Jay, we can have a life discussion. I could be teaching parts of speech and a kid say, Steve-O, how do you look for an apartment? So I stopped teaching about parts of speech. So let's talk about life. Let's talk about it, you know, and kids gravitate to people like that. And they don't care how many degrees you have. They don't care about that, Jay. They only care about if you care about them. That's all they care about.
They looking for that attention, man.
Yep, they crave it.
And like you say, you stay with that group. A lot of kids like to come to school because they're not getting that love at home.
Absolutely.
You know, they're not getting that attention at home.
Yep.
And actually, sometimes they turn out to be the best kids because they're the ones who will come back.
Yep.
And try to help another kid.
Yep.
To not go through what they went through.
Absolutely.
You know, so Buster, man, I gotta give your flowers because you always posting.
Yes, sir.
These performers always coming back to you.
Absolutely.
You just had Love It from Mizzou.
Yes.
Come back to see you. Yeah, in the military.
Absolutely.
They came back to see you. You know, and
that was big to me.
Love.
I never coached football. But Dominique came back to see me, man. I ain't never coached him one time, but I was his teacher. And he and I had some real life discussions about what happens after high school. And he didn't forget that. So first chance he got when he came in the building, I got a phone call in the class saying, Dominique Lovett is here to see you, Steve-O. And I said, send him on down. And during that time, I had 2 other kids already there who said, Steve-O, we told you we was going to come back, so we're here. And I welcomed them kids into the classroom. So I appreciate you giving me my flowers. And those kids, seeing them come back to my classrooms and interact with me, they're giving me my flowers as well, whether they know it or not. That's why I stay. That's why I stay.
You, man. That means you doing what you're supposed to do. You took an oath to be a teacher to help this kid, to help kids. You know, that's what you're doing, man. We all know. As some teachers, that's there just for the check.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just for the check.
Yep.
Anytime you can have your former students, man, you posted, man, you done posted about 11 to 12 students this year already coming back, man.
Yeah, they come back, man.
You the only teacher and I'm friends with a bunch of teachers on Facebook. You the only teacher that posts that, man.
Yeah.
The flowers, man.
My man.
I salute you, brother.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so.
Appreciate it.
Steve, we've been on for a minute.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna kind of shut this down.
All right.
You're always welcome.
My man.
You're always welcome. If you find if you want to talk about something else another day, man, hit me up, man. This my shit.
Yes, sir.
You know, it ain't no paid sponsor. Don't nobody run this. I can start this anytime. Shit. If I have my stuff at work. If you call me doing school hours like Buck, let's get on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm hooking it up.
My man.
I'm hooking it up. I only need 3 pieces: my phone, my mic, and my receiver. That's it. So, all right, everybody, this your boy Jay Buck with the Buckwild Podcast.
Oh, I see that. My daughter's favorite teacher.
I love my music.
Man. My man. Until next time, fam.
Until next time, we'll be in contact, baby.
No doubt, babe. Cool.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in. And hey, this was big right here, man. This was a good conversation me and Buster just had. Fernando Buster Stevenson, East St. Louis' very own. If you missed the show or you caught it late, and you go into my my profile, my links, and add me on YouTube. Buckwild Podcast with Jay Buck. Add me on YouTube. This will be posted. Every episode will always be posted, and we'll go from there. But if y'all have any questions, concerns, you want to get on the podcast, you got a topic you want to talk about, you got some concerns, hey, hit me in my inbox. I'm on Facebook, James J. Buck Johnson. I'm on Instagram. What's my name on Instagram? J Buck Y under Instagram. I'm also under my name. You can't hear me? We also I'm also on Instagram as Buckwild Podcast with J Buck. You can find me on Snapchat. I don't know my name on that. James Johnson, I guess. Shit, I don't know. But on YouTube, Buckwild Podcast with J Buck. Hey, this your boy J Buck, the Airtime Snatcher, aka Mr. $40 Holler. I'm signing out. Everybody have a blessed evening. Y'all be safe. Hey, holler at you till next time.